Back with you for another review. This is Tim from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're taking a look at the Schrade SCAXE2L. Hopefully by now you've seen my review of the SCAXE2, which is the little brother to this item. I've used both of them. I've been very impressed with them. Recently I've been out in the woods testing this one, so what we'll do is talk about it here in the studio and give you some of the specs. Then we'll roll in some footage from the testing out in the woods, and then wrap up with some final thoughts. First up, I just wanted to compare the size of these two items. So for the SCAXE2, from top to bottom, you're looking at about 11 3/4 inches, and for the 2L, we're talking about 15 1/2. The other thing worth noting is the size of the blade. So for the 2, we've got about 3 3/4 inches, and for the 2L, we're talking about 4 1/4 inches. Let's talk about some of the accessories. First off, you can see it does come with a ferro rod, just like the SCAXE2 does. You can see also that I've already scraped off some of that black coating so you can actually use it more effectively. It does have the standard O-rings up here so that when it slides into the handle it stays in place, and then you do have the lanyard here. My first recommendation would be, I'm glad that they give you plenty of cordage with this lanyard, but I would cut it a little bit shorter so it wasn't dangling so much. That's a simple thing you can do. Just chop it off, probably 3 or 4 inches up maybe, tie it off in a knot, and then you won't have it dangling as far, maybe not getting caught on anything while you're walking through the woods. So there's your ferro rod. You also get the sheath, and the way the sheath operates is you slide the handle down through here, and then it goes down to the bottom, and this goes over the top of the axe, and then you can run your belt through here. I thought because of the length of the axe it was going to be bouncing against my leg a lot, but as I walked through the woods, no issue whatsoever. I mean, if you really start running, obviously anything you have on you that's dangling off your belt is going to be bouncing a little bit, but this was quite secure. It wasn't moving all around, and I did find it relatively easy to open that up, slide the axe out, and when you want to return it, just reverse the process, and it's nice and secure on your belt. Last up here is a sharpening stone. You have one side that's a bit more coarse and one side that's a bit finer. Very nice that they include this so you can sharpen your axe. The one downside, there's no way to attach this to your sheath. It's just too big and clunky to actually make that functional, but you can throw it in a pocket, throw it in your backpack, and now when you're out in the field, you do have an option to sharpen up your axe. Some of the specs here. You have a titanium coated 3CR13 stainless steel head with a hammer pommel on the back. You also have a black glass fiber filled PA handle with ergonomic black TPR rubberized grip, and we'll talk about how nice that grip is when we're actually out in the woods. I've been using this. I've been quite impressed with that. Here's a look at your blade. As you can see, I've been using it quite a bit. On the back you've got your pommel. Here's the other side. And then here's your handle. And then from this point down it is that rubberized grip with some grooves for your finger. The other side's pretty much the same. And then here's where your fire steel goes. And I have found that this is quite secure. It does take quite a bit of pulling to actually get that out of the handle. Time to take this out into the field and test it out. Let's head to the woods. I did 2 different cuts. You can see there's the lower one and then another one up there, and as I was chopping, just a big chunk came flying off from there. The cutting was very easy with the axe. The weight of it is good, so you don't have to really wail against whatever you're cutting. The weight does the work for you if you're relatively efficient in where you're swinging it. And there you go, first look. Here's another down log, and we'll work on this one a little bit now. Here's what this cut looks like. Again, quite easy if you let the weight of the axe do the work. I will note that the handle, because it is curved back, as I mentioned during the in-studio overview, it did give me some good grip when it started to feel like it was moving slightly in my hand. The fact that it was curved back helped me feel like I had a little bit more control. As far as the sharpness of the blade from the factory, I'd call it good. I wouldn't call it excellent or outstanding, but you obviously can sharpen it with the included sharpening stone. Here it is working on some smaller pieces of wood. Now we're about up to probably an inch across, I would say, on this piece right here. And still no problem. Here's a look at the axe doing some finer work. So as you can see, it works quite well for that fine work too. I want to show you real quick how the fire steel works. So that is a functional fire steel, just like the smaller version of this axe. And just to show you that with a little bit of practice and the right tinder material, I had some nice birch bark scrapings there, you can get a real fire going with that fire steel. Back in the studio now to offer some final thoughts on the Schrade SCAXE2L. First, I'll say I like the ergonomics of the handle. It gave me good control when I was out there in the field. Secondly, you'll note there that I have shortened the length of the lanyard on the ferro rod that's inside the handle. I can still get the ferro rod out very easily, but I don't have all that extra cordage that might get caught up on something. I didn't find the additional length of this compared to the SCAXE2 any more cumbersome or harder to transport. Certainly the SCAXE2 would be easier to throw into a smaller backpack, but when it comes to just wearing it on your belt, I think both would work just fine. You'll get more cutting power out of this than a smaller size camp axe. I do like the ferro rod included. I think that's a nice addition, and I'm always personally looking for ways to gain multiple uses out of a single item. As far as your cost, this is going to run you between $40 and $45, and just know that Schrade stands very solidly behind their products. So if you have issues, you can contact them, and they've been great to work with for me. Thanks for checking out the video. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids here on YouTube. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check us out on Tumblr. More videos coming soon. Take care.